What's going on, Graveyard? Welcome back to Riverbend Springs. This is the From Manager to Large Scale Owner series. In this episode, we are in the month of March, as you can see. We're going to be planting some oilseed radish that we didn't get in the ground before winter. We're going to get it in here in the month of March so that it can be ready to cultivate under in the next month and get planted what is going to be here. You just double check that. Believe we can put this here. Do we not need it here? 6 and 9 is what I have wrote down. Was it 7 and 8? I'm thinking it's 7 and 8. It's got to be 7 and 8. It certainly has to be 7 and 8 because that looks like it's cultivated. Well, that's plowed, obviously. And it's already fertilized there, so it's got to be 7 and 8 instead of 6 and 9. So we're gonna hope that that's correct. And I guess before I get going, we are going to do this in one big time lapse. Well, maybe not one big time lapse on second thoughts. I'll probably jump in at some point. But we'll do this field for sure in a time lapse, and we'll see where we're at that point. Looks like rain is in the forecast. So we have until 4 to try and get this done, and then conditions will kind of get muddy. So let's get that time sped back up and get underway.
My friend is coming. It's time to die. The end. Come on. Big Jack. Jack Frost. He's coming. Big Jack. Jack Frost. He's coming. Jack Frost.
We are just about done with the first field. We are going to be going ahead and jumping right on in to the next one, which will end up being another time lapse. And just to kind of give a peek at what's coming in the future, the next video is likely also going to be time lapse of planting, as all of the fields are going to be ready to be planted in the next month. So what I'm leaning towards doing is basically just the entire video will, like, I'll start, give a little quick intro, and then immediately go into time lapse, get all of the work done under time lapse, and then do an outro. Obviously it's not the kind of video that I've been doing, but I don't know how else to go about doing that, and hopefully we can get all of it done in a single month. I guess I can incorporate some cultivating as well, just so that it's not staring at the same stuff, because we will have to cultivate these two fields under before they can be planted. But we'll be planting, we got the parsnips on field 4, sorghum on field 5. Let me get around this corner so that I can look back at my notes. Sorghum on field 5, soybeans on fields 6 and 7, and then on fields 8 and 9 we're going to be planting corn. So we've got a lot of planting to do, a little bit of cultivating, and I feel like the time-lapse video is going to be the best bet to encompass all of that. So once we get past that, so that'll all be the month of April, assuming we can get it all done in 1 month. Otherwise that'll extend out into May. And once we get into the kind of in-between months, we'll probably start doing some forestry. And by doing forestry, I mean we'll start clearing some of the trees in the area back by the Angus cows, and maybe clear some space to get some sheep or chickens. I would also obviously like to be able to buy grassland care stuff, so that we have something, you know, more to do on these in-between months, but the funds are just not there right now. So maybe after this, maybe going into next year, that's what we spend our money on, seeing as I believe we upgraded trailers. Yeah, we upgraded trailers already, and we've got a system for picking up the parsnips when we store them. So I feel like the next thing to do is to get the grassland care, and then we can designate a field just to be grass. So we'll be able to make silage and such. But then we also need to be able to get a baler, a wrapper if we're going to do silage, or a bunker. So everything takes money, everything takes funds, and we're already paying a $40,000 loan off, $5,000 at a time. I haven't forgotten. You'll notice that our money did go down after making a payment. So the farm has to be able to pay out $7,000 per month, because it's got to be able to pay the $5,000 towards the loan plus $2,000 to me, or to us, or the guy driving this tractor, however you wish to look at it. But that goes into this account, which is the amount of money that we will have for when it's time to go from being a manager to owning our own farm, wherever that ends up being. If we end up in a very long period being the manager here, having more than enough money to buy a farm, and there's still not a different map that's out, I would end up just buying one of the other farm locations on this map and staying on this map. But then we'd obviously not be working the same fields. We'd be working an entirely different part of the map. So it would kind of feel like a new map for the series. Kind of. But for me, it would not really feel like a new map. And that's more or less what I'm waiting on. There have been obviously some nice maps put out. I know, I think it's Calmsden Farm is the name of it, by Oxygen David. He always does good maps. But that is a European map. And there is, I believe, a German map that has been put out that I've been playing on recently, but that's also European. We're looking for one that's American. There's been a Michigan map. I can't think of the name off the top of my head, but I don't want to go to that one because it's the game that it's the map that I played on in the last game in FS22. It was my main map for the last game. So I have hundreds of hours on that map, and it's all flat. The fields are mostly square. So now that we have the ability for the workers to actually comprehend how to do more than just a square field or a rectangled field, I want to take advantage of that, and I want to finally play on a map that has abnormal field shapes, or I guess normal field shapes per the realism side of things. Whereas up until now, I've kind of mostly played on maps where the fields were squared because I used workers, and I didn't want workers getting partially done with stuff and then me having to take over and finish it. When the worker gets done, I want it to be done. And we have that function now, and I'm enjoying it. I'm also enjoying being able to use the GPS, or the lane or steering assist as it's called, function, because it's allowing me to be able to do like the planting. It's allowing me to do more, where before, I mean, obviously I could have, but I couldn't hold a straight line, and it bothered me, especially like when harvesting or like doing this. Granted, I'm at an angle, so it doesn't look like a straight line, but I'd be like not zigzagging, but like weaving back and forth, and it just bothered me. So I'd always just end up putting the jobs on a worker, and I would just sit there and watch, while obviously watching like a show at the same time or something. But now we have more capabilities, so I'm going to take advantage of those, and hopefully we can get a good American style map. Nothing against the European maps. Obviously I've played multiple European maps. I'm currently playing on a European map off recording. It's just that our character is American, such as myself. So we are going to try and stay in America for when we buy a farm. It's not completely out of the question, but I would prefer it to stay in America. So I guess with the ramble out of the way, I'm going to go ahead and start the time lapse back up, and I will catch up with you guys at the end of it. Alrighty, we are just about finished up here right now. Alright, so 2 fields, and we didn't even use 20% of the seeds. So seed consumption is not that high. File that away in the memory bank. We will get this parked up, and that is going to be a day's work. Ooh. I hate this shed so much. I got rid of it as soon as I could in my off recording game. Alright. We'll run down here. Shut that. We do not have a roller, so we cannot roll the fields after planting. Which, we're just planting a cover crop, so it's really not that big of a deal anyway. We'll go ahead, get this stuff parked back up. We do need to think about getting a power washer at some point as well. But, come over here, we'll get paid by Walter. So that's going to bring our account up to $25,574. I believe we still have to do a loan payment. Yes, we do. So we'll do that. I don't know if you saw down here, we went from 35,000 outstanding to 30,000 outstanding. And we currently only have honey that we could sell. And we only have enough that we would get about $600. So not worth selling at the time. The cows are still doing good. They got plenty of hay. We're going to have more of them in 5 months. But I guess I am going to drive home, and I will catch up with you guys there. Alright guys, that's going to do it for this episode. As you can see, we are calling it an early day. We've got everything done for the month of March. So we have some extra time off, and we got it all done before the storm came. So if you liked the video, go ahead and drop a like. I would really appreciate it if you subscribe to stay tuned to the series, as well as any upcoming series and my backlog of streams that I have to upload. Speaking of streams, I stream every Tuesday and Thursday on Twitch. The username is the same as on here, Dylan Graves. And I guess with all that being said, until next time, have a good one.